For 8 months, one woman ruled our cul-de-sac with fake authority, intimidation, and professional confidence. She strutted through the neighborhood with clipboards, fake badges, and a ring of master keys that everyone assumed could open their homes. Neighbors paid her fees, obeyed her orders, and kept quiet out of fear. But what happens when the illusion cracks, when someone finally says no, and the entire house of cards collapses in front of 15 phone cameras? This is the story of Courtney Mitchell, the self-proclaimed community standards director, and how her empire of lies came crashing down in a single unforgettable evening. It began quietly. At first, Courtney's confidence was convincing. She carried herself like a professional, armed with documents that looked official and language that sounded legal. She spoke with authority, citing community covenants and emergency safety inspections. Most residents didn't question it. But beneath that polished exterior was a calculated criminal operation. One evening, Betty's bedroom window camera captured Courtney outside my home. For nearly 10 minutes, she inspected my lock like a locksmith in training. Sliding keys in, pulling them out, checking her phone for reference photos, and documenting the hardware. It wasn't imagination or paranoia. It was evidence. She wasn't preparing for community safety. She was preparing for breaking and entering. Betty shared her recording, and suddenly, the truth was impossible to ignore. Courtney had been running a neighborhood scam, profiling residents, especially vulnerable ones, and rehearsing emergencies she could exploit. My suspicions turned into certainty when Jake, one of her hired enforcers, finally confessed. "She's got the 911 call planned out," he admitted. "Elderly safety emergency, mental health crisis, obstruction of community procedures. She's practiced the script. The police will think she's legit." 8 months of intimidation were about to climax with a staged emergency. But what Courtney didn't realize was that this time, her confidence had made her predictable. And predictable criminals always make mistakes. Tuesday evening, 6:45 p.m. I was ready. Cameras hidden, neighbors alerted, legal notes at hand. Betty prepared her second-angle recording. Rick stationed himself across the street. Susan waited nervously nearby, and Jake lingered behind, guilt heavy on his face. By 7 p.m., Courtney appeared, walking with the confidence of a CEO about to close her biggest deal. Clipboard tucked under her arm, fake badge catching the light, and a ring of 10 shining master keys swinging like trophies. "Mr. Porter," her voice boomed with trained authority. "Mandatory emergency safety inspection under Community Covenant Article 12. I have master key access to all non-compliant properties." For months, that kind of legal-sounding language had fooled my neighbors. But not tonight. "Courtney," I called from behind my locked door, "you are attempting criminal trespass under Texas Penal Code 30.02. This property is not under HOA authority. Everything is being recorded for law enforcement review." Her mask flickered for just a second before she doubled down. "Obstruction of emergency safety procedures. Endangers community welfare." Then came the moment that shattered her image. She pulled out the first key from her ring, slid it in my lock with ceremony, and turned. Nothing. Second key. Nothing. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sweat formed on her brow, her hands trembled, and by the 10th failure, her entire facade collapsed. 8 months of intimidation, undone by one simple truth. Her keys never worked. Those keys never worked on anyone's house. Betty shouted from her window. The neighborhood erupted. Rick stormed forward, furious. "I've been paying fake fees for 7 months. $1,750. Stolen." Phones appeared, neighbors crowded in, and the carefully constructed illusion of power crumbled in real time. Courtney panicked. "This is obstruction. These locks were illegally modified," she shouted, throwing her ring of useless keys at my door. The clipboard followed, scattering fake documents that blew across the driveway like confetti at a disaster. When neighbors pressed, she escalated. Trembling hands pulled out her phone, dialing 911. "Community Standards Director under attack," she screamed. "Elderly resident unstable. Neighbors threatening me with recording devices." The irony was cinematic, the scammer calling police for protection from her victims. But the neighborhood wasn't silent anymore. Betty yelled, "She's lying to 911. We're recording everything." Rick shouted, "Check her fake credentials when they get here." Susan's voice broke, "Courtney, what have you done to us?" Every angle was filmed, every lie exposed. Desperate, Courtney turned violent. She pounded my door with her fists, screaming about inspection rights. She grabbed a garden rake, prying at my window frame while 15 neighbors recorded her attempted burglary in broad daylight. Then came the distant wail of sirens. Courtney froze, tried to fix her clothes, and attempted to reassemble her professional mask. She was convinced the police would side with her, that her performance would be validated once again. But reality was waiting. The county sheriff's patrol car pulled up to chaos. Damaged door, scattered documents, a crowd of angry neighbors, and one frantic woman still clutching a fake badge. "Officer, thank God you're here." Courtney rushed forward. "I'm the Community Standards Director. These residents are conspiring against legitimate authority. That elderly man is mentally unstable." I stepped outside calmly. "Hi, Daniel. Thanks for responding so quickly." The silence was electric. Daniel looked at me, then at her. "Hi, Dad. Backup is on the way. Are you hurt? What happened to your door?" Courtney's face turned ghost white. Her lips trembled. "Dad? His dad." And then Betty shouted the words that sealed her fate. She called the cops on a cop's dad. The neighborhood exploded with laughter, cheers, and disbelief. 8 months of fear flipped into pure karmic justice in a single moment. Courtney lost it. "No, he's just a confused old man. I have authority." She lunged toward me, screaming. Daniel restrained her with professional precision. "Ma'am, you're detained for assault on my father." Within minutes, backup officers arrived. Courtney Mitchell was arrested for criminal trespass, assault, impersonation of a public servant, filing a false police report, and attempted breaking and entering. Handcuffed, she screamed at the cameras, "I was protecting property values. You'll all regret this." But no one believed her anymore. Her empire of intimidation was gone, destroyed in front of 20 phone cameras. The next morning, investigators uncovered even more: systematic targeting of vulnerable residents, fake documents, fraudulent fees. What looked like HOA rules was, in reality, a professional scam operation. 8 months of fear, shattered in one night. Confidence and a clipboard can fool a neighborhood, but truth, evidence, and unity are stronger than any scam. Courtney Mitchell believed she was untouchable. Instead, she became a viral example of how fake authority crumbles the moment real authority arrives. Because when your keys don't fit the lock, your lies don't unlock power either.